Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. Wow, longtime ESPN analyst Teddy Atlas permanently removed from live fight telecast. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working. Now, I haven't heard anyone talk about this, so it may be the first one on YouTube. Shout out to Lance Pugmire of the Los Angeles Times. This is where I just read the article and the interview, which was kind of confirmed by Teddy Atlas. The link is in the description. Check out the LA Times. And I just want to give my thoughts on what I read in the interview. And make sure you turn your ad blocker off when you go to Los Angeles Times. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the article. Now, they asked him about, hey, you were absent for the Lomachenko-Rigondeaux card. Will you be back? Because Teddy Atlas has been a reporter with the network for 21 years. And Teddy Atlas says, doesn't look like it, at least from what I understand is the decision. It wasn't my decision, right? He goes on to say that I can't really talk about it more because I'm under contract. I always try to be upfront and honest, but I'm unable to speak about it. I don't mean to be vague or to not get to the point, because that's what I like to do and always try to be, whether people like it or not, right? And he says, I have appreciated the 21 years I've been at ESPN and the opportunity I've been given, and I appreciate the opportunity the fans have given me. I still have 3 more years of a commitment to a company that's been good to me, looking to fulfill my commitment and be sure and be true to that. I wish I was able to speak on it more, but I gave my word that I wouldn't. So obviously some kind of gag order, some kind of contractual stipulation that he can't just openly discuss the decision or how come this happened. And that happens from higher up. He's still under contract. He's still going to be. See, and this is the thing, just so you guys know, he's been with ESPN 21 years. He's not like, man, how the hell you get fired on your day off, man? Like, he's not being fired from the network. However, it does not look like they will, unless it looks like it's indefinite, unless some new person comes in or they make some kind of radical change, or maybe the fans petition or something. It does not look like he will be allowed to commentate on the live telecast. So picture Jim Lampley with HBO not being able to call the fight, right? And they might have him on the fight game, you know what I mean, still work with HBO, or to do the YouTube HBO greatest hits, Gennady Golovkin or something like that. So that would be the equivalent. So once again, he's still under contract with the network for, it sounds like, 3 years. But as far as the live fight telecast, blow-by-blow announcer calling the fights, I guess they're not fucking with him anymore. And he can't talk about why. But in the article, they're saying they kind of reached out to some people, and it sounds like they have an understanding, like a vague understanding of what went on, but the person declined to, you know what I mean, they didn't want their name, like, hey, you know what I mean, I said this. They don't want to get in trouble with their position by giving an interview and being quoted as saying this stuff. But the article says they gave Teddy Atlas a bunch of chances. The Fresno show was terrible. He was terrible to Mark Kriegel, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So, wow, that's just pretty shocking to me. That, like, because you see someone with a company for 21 years, you don't really think about, like, hey, there's an alternate possibility, you know what I mean? But they said they gave him chances. So this is what I think happened, and this is kind of what the article is alluding to. The Fresno show, and I was on Twitter because I was watching the Fresno card, and they had the HBO card the same night, so I was kind of bouncing back. I think it was Gerald Big Baby Miller and Danny Jacobs, maybe. I think it was that fight card was on the same time. But as I was watching the ESPN, everybody on Twitter was talking about how Teddy Atlas and Mark Kriegel, who was new to ESPN, he had just got signed up. He was working with Showtime. I don't know if he still works with them, but he got signed on to to help with the commentary stuff with ESPN. And for whatever reason, Teddy Atlas and him were at each other's throats. And it was very, because all of the Twitter world was talking about it, because I follow a lot of boxers, trainers, and just boxing fans and stuff on Twitter. And it's like everybody was talking about that. So I think it served as a distraction to the Fresno telecast, which was a good card. That was the one with Artur Beterbiev. The main event really delivered. It was Jose Ramirez stopping Mike Yes Indeed Reed. And anyway, they're arguing and chastising, and it was really Teddy Atlas was just at his throat, because you know how Teddy Atlas gets, and he's passionate. And I think ESPN was just like, nah, we got this new deal with Bob Arum and Top Rank. That is not the look we're going for. You know what I mean? We got Mark Kriegel, and you guys, he was like, I don't remember what he said exactly, but it was like he was trying to sun Mark Kriegel, you know what I mean, and say he didn't, like, insult him, like he didn't know, like, how do you get this job type of thing, you know what I mean? That's how I interpret it. Like he was like testing his credentials, like, you don't know what you're talking about type stuff. So that, and then the Pacquiao Jeff Horn fight, he flipped out on that particular one too. And see, you got to understand why it's probably, since this Top Rank deal, ESPN, this is the best, in my opinion. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure you could corroborate this. But these are the best numbers ESPN Boxing has received for a non-classic fight, for like a new fight, like Friday night fights, probably in decades, if not. Because I remember I used to watch ESPN, and I remember they had Bermain Stavern versus Chris Areola for an ESPN fight. I'm talking about before PBC too, because PBC had a couple, maybe like Danny Garcia, Paulie Malignaggi, Keith Thurman, Collazo. They had a couple like that. So before PBC and all that, the fight with Bermain Stavern and Chris Areola, the rematch, that was an ESPN fight. And to me, I was like, wow. I was like, that was a big fight for ESPN to get. You know what I mean? Because the first Bermain Stavern Areola fight was on HBO, but for whatever reason they didn't pick it up. So ESPN got the rematch. See, I know this stuff off the top of my head. You guys do your research. And I remember that was a big deal. So my point is, ESPN, for the longest, up until these promoters like Al Heyman, he was really the one that introduced it for boxing. And then came Golden Boy, and then now you have Top Rank. And Top Rank, I would probably say, has put on the best fights on ESPN and done the best numbers. Pacquiao Horn, Lomachenko Rigondeaux, you know what I mean? They put on some really good fights with the network. So my point is, this new Top Rank deal, especially since Top Rank's giving you quality fight, Terrence Crawford and Dongo, you know what I mean? They're giving us quality fights on ESPN. They're not looking for that distractions and stuff there, because they're doing, from my research, I believe Pacquiao Horn is the highest rated boxing programming on regular cable. So no HBO, no Showtime. It did very good numbers. You know what I mean? It's Pacquiao. And then after that, I believe it was Rigondeaux and Lomachenko. The Lomachenko fight did very good numbers, and it's the second best. So there's a lot of eyes on ESPN, and you know, I love Teddy Atlas. I've interviewed him and stuff. Great guy, but he's real passionate, straight shooter. But he's real passionate, and you know what I mean. That probably rubs someone in the office, one of the big wigs, the wrong way. Like the Jeff Horn fight, he was like, "That's a robbery," and Pacquiao, like, you know what I mean. And it created it's like, I guess, like a scene stealer. Like now that's like, it's overshadowing the fight, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to lose. See, you got to look at these networks and stuff. They're not trying to lose ratings. So if it's always like beef and controversy, your commentators arguing like crazy like that, maybe that's not the look they're going for. Even on the Lomachenko Rigondeaux card, they had a segment. I don't think it was on the live telecast, but they had a segment with Stephen A. Smith, and he was trying to sun Stephen A. Smith too. He's like, so and so fight against Joe Louis, and like he's just screaming, and I guess that's what they're trying to get away with. That's what it sounds like in the Los Angeles Times article that they're referring to. Like they try to give Teddy Atlas so many chances, but I mean, a leopard won't change spots, you know what I mean? And he's just a passionate person, and you know what I mean. That's how he talks and debates boxing. Like, he can't, you know what I mean? You gotta put Lomachenko. That's just his demeanor, and it looks like and it sounds like that's not what ESPN wants. So they pulled him from not only the Lomachenko rigging now, but it sounds like indefinitely he's pulled from the live telecast. So what they'll probably have him do, if you've watched ESPN fights like me for a while at a time, sometimes before the fight they'll do the little keys to victory, and it'll be him and a boxer, and he'll be like, go to the body, and then he has someone doing the demonstrations with him on what they need to do to win the fight for both fighters. He'll probably do those things, or like when he talked to Stephen A. Smith after the fight, you'll probably have him in some kind of capacity like that. So pretty shocking news to me, because I mean, he's always been a ESPN head, you know what I mean, for 21 years. So to see that they actually was just like, nah, and taking him off the live telecast, that has to be a blow. But he can't talk about it, but we can. Let me know what you guys think. Teddy Atlas no longer doing the blow-by-blow live shit like Lampley and Max Kellerman and Roy Jones and all them do on HBO. I guess he won't be a part of the ESPN one. Link in the description. And I'm not really sure that this had anything to do with the decision to take him and pull him from the live telecast ongoing. But he, to me, was tripping when Terrence Crawford became undisputed and Andre Ward was the guest commentator, and they were side by side, and he told him that Lomachenko was #1 pound for pound, and they just looked at him. So I don't know. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but I'm saying for me as a boxing fan, that was one of those kind of like head scratcher moments. Like, really? Like this, you're really pushing this #1 after he just became undisputed, and you've seen what Ward did to Kovalev in the rematch? Really? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, son. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.